can't believe it. I can't believe I actually did it.
Neither can I.
So why did I do it? Why did I buy a Seadoo Spark? Why did I buy a 4-stroke? Have I turned my back on my beloved classics? Well, you've all been asking, so today I'm going to explain all, giving you the truth about why Classic Jetskis now has a Seadoo Spark in the lineup. And if you keep watching, you'll see the exclusive first ever ride when I broke this in back in 2021. So guys, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, let's get into the video. Where's my other boot? So it's time for me to, there he is. It's time for me to get changed, but you're not watching. Megan, I'm serious. You little perv. Here's a question for you all. Do you wear your underpants under your wetsuit or not? This is a 34-year-old Seadoo SP 1990, and this is a 29-year-old Seadoo XP 1995, and this is a 21-year-old Seadoo XP DI 2003. Now, the epitome of the 90s ethos, when two-strokes ruled and manufacturers prioritised lightweight, playful fun in these machines. But let's face it, guys, a lot's changed over the years, with two-strokes now being a thing of the past, and manufacturers have thrown away the 90s ethos, throwing the playful fun that we love out the window and replacing it with rider compliance and horsepower chasing machines. For years I chose to discredit anything new gen as it felt like a way to safeguard my beloved classics. The problem with that logic though is there is an exception to the rule, and it's the Seadoo Spark. It's been around for 10 years at this point, so it does actually have a production lifespan as long as what we now call the classics. So in the modern era, the Spark really is a proven machine. Buying a Spark at this point is a pretty safe bet. It's had years of incremental improvement, and the 900 Ace engine is pretty bomb-proof. I was generally intrigued by the Spark. I'd see footage on Facebook and Instagram of people wave jumping these and wheeling them and spinning them, and I could see the spirit of the 90s, albeit in a new gen hull. I realised I started this journey to experience what all these skis have to offer. So for me, ignoring the Seadoo Spark when it was literally designed to bring back the ethos of the 90s and the playful fun would be me doing a really unbiased job of showing you guys the pros and cons of both old and new. I've already made a Seadoo XP X4 comparison against the Seadoo Spark. It's actually closer than you may think, so go give that a watch here. So when Seadoo announced the 2021 Spark TRIXX in lava red and black, I finally cracked and I ordered one. Why? It was the first time I was actually truly captivated and grabbed in a way that I was excited to get my hands on this color combo. If you could take the spirit of an XP DI, that beautiful red that punches out, and embody it in a new ski, this is as close as it's gonna get. I love red, and as soon as I saw this color combo, I was ordering one. Guys, on an emotive level, I've always wanted that experiential feeling of going into a dealership. I was born in 1993, so sadly I missed the chance to buy a beloved two-stroke, but this is the next best thing of getting that legit feeling. I've obviously been chasing barn finds, pristine finds, but it's not quite the same as buying a brand new ski, which you know is fresh out the box. At the time in 2021, it was unclear how long the lava red and black would be offered in this color combo. In the end, I could have waited a following year to 2022 because they offered it for 2 years. But I'm super glad I bought when I did, because now with the Spark going to the Gen 2 variation of the aesthetic, this design obviously is no more. So I'm so glad I've got this color, and it was the right year to just jump. you're talking new gen, it's got to be a Spark, and in particular, it's got to be a TRIXX. The 90 horsepower 900 Ace with that Polytech hull, which is super lightweight, and the extended VTS, is really the most compelling, comparable, modern day new gen ski that we have that's even remotely similar to the old playful characteristics we saw in the 90s and the early 2000s. If you're like me and love wave jumping, the Spark with its extended VTS and this fly-by-wire throttle, unlike the mechanical we had back in the 90s, you have that instant low-end power. I would approach waves on this and you would actually question whether you want to jump them. I would say comparatively, from the people that I've spoken to, this is like a modded X4, as in when you mod an X4, it can obviously jump out of the water even more effortlessly. So the Spark kind of is doing that job stock, which is crazy. Yes, I know the top end of this ski leaves some to be desired. It's only 50 miles an hour and we really want 60. But in terms of what it's designed to do, low end, playful fun, it really does tick that box well. Now Polytech, the big point of contention, the big elephant in the room, it's weak, it's gonna break. Polytech's been around for 10 years now. It's been refined, and obviously we have Polytech 2 as well, which we see in the GTIs. It's super strong, guys. In some cases, it's probably stronger than gel coat, but it is really scratch resistant. So when you get on and off the trailer, or if you're ever having the ski beached, it's gonna be harder to scratch that hole. And then when you actually look at the characteristics and the makeup, it's lighter. The lighter a ski can be, the easier it is to jump out of the water, spin it round, and all the things that we love. So Polytech really is a cool modern day addition. Yes, it doesn't look as aesthetically pleasing, I get that. It's never gonna be a beautiful yellow or red underside hull. Now, performance. I said 60 miles an hour. Now, when everyone comes for the Spark and they say, oh, it's not a performance ski, it's an entry-level ski. If you want to go faster, you have to buy a high-performance ski and get a supercharger. Largely speaking, I think dealers and manufacturers alike are confusing performance with top speed. What they're really saying is buy a performance ski if you want to go 70 miles an hour. But what us performance riders are saying is we want ultimate connection with the water with ultimate performance, i.e. we want top speed and we want to maintain our handling. The Spark gives you the handling, but it doesn't give you the top speed. And buying a big RXP, guys, doesn't fix that. I want ultimate connection with the water. I want to have to use my rider agility to get the most out of this ski. Compliance in riding, as in RXP, you turn it at 60 miles an hour and it does exactly what you want it to do. Largely speaking, that takes a lot of the creativity out of the riding. So for now, the Spark represents the best in class for me in the new gen lineup.
My trick that I kind of like to do on the old skis, especially when they're light, rock it side to side, make sure everything's all moving around nicely.
So it wouldn't be fair to make a Spark video without getting Megs in. Come on, Megs.
So I fully support Joe and I love his passion that he has for all the old two-strokes, but I have always wanted a Spark.
She has, to be fair. She's always bugged me, and I held off as long as I could.
I feel like for me, jet skiing is like about the lifestyle, it's about exploring, and the Spark just gives us that practicality that I don't think the other two-strokes can give us.
We have been on the two strokes together, but it's harder to go two up for a long distance.
We have done it. I think the main long trip was on the Wave Raider, am I right? We did
and the Wave Raider is good, but you always have that mini concern. As much as I love two strokes,
I know.
You know, a Spark is bomb-proof. You can go for miles, and once I want to spin it, it does have some of the characteristics. It's never going to be an XP, but it's not bad.
Exactly. I think if that was the thing, if we had, and we do have a lot of choice, if it came to a day where we have a lot of choice on the skis, we do normally go for the Spark because it gives us that practicality where me and Joe can go off and explore for the day, take some lunch with us, which I love. It's all about lifestyle, guys. And then also then he can drop me off at a beach, I can chill, and he can go off, throw me off, and he can go off like a hooligan, do those wheelies and tricks that he enjoys doing. And I just think the Spark can give us everything.
Megs always talks about how the Spark is bigger, but I think there's a good second passenger slot behind her. Megan doesn't like the GSX because the front hood, fun little fact here, actually fell on Megs' face. And it was quite serious, guys. So Megs has ever since...
Yeah, don't blame the GSX, that was you. Joe said, put your head in the front bin. I'm going to shake it to check for fuel or something.
Everyone does that.
And he smacked and it fell. Oh, anyway, so I've got a bit of a traumatic experience.
And what I was trying to get at here, Megs, is you can technically get 2 people on the 2 strokes, but it's more about the usability and rideability. Me and Megs can literally go for what? All day on 35 quid of fuel here in the UK. Do Americans say quid?
No. Dollar?
Dollar, mate.
Dollar.
But the point of getting that is the Spark is just a versatile modern ski for 2. Even though you can fit 2 on here, it just isn't as... The rideability, I'd say.
The rideability, and also what I would say, what Joe's forgetting, is yes, you can fit 2 people on a 2-stroke, but it is a lot harder, and he would never admit this. He's a rubbish passenger.
I am a bad passenger.
So, like, if I ever tried to drive if I try to drive a 2-stroke, I feel more comfortable driving the 4-stroke because I feel like I'm in control of it. This one would just be 2.
I think if you're uninitiated to 2-strokes, there's a lot of historical context that you need to the fact that even when you start a 2-stroke, you maybe need to give it a little bit of gas to go, and then when you turn, it
feels more underneath you.
They do better when you obviously put a bit of throttle with turning, whereas with the new stuff, you've obviously got the IBR, which has neutral, and it just sits there. It feels more like a modern day automatic car.
Can I say something that's really, really important for all of like the partners out there that have partners like you that love jet skis? I honestly think the reason why I like 4-stroke so much is the safety aspect, and I know that sounds really boring.
It is a bit boring.
But if I'm coming in on my own to the beach and Joe's really like, don't scratch the hole on the sand, don't touch it here. I know I can put it into neutral, I can stop, I can reverse, I can control it. With this one, I'm like, Joe, be there, catch me, because I don't know what's going to happen.
I would catch her every time, and what Megs makes a good point, specifically when you go to lakes and you're maybe going onto a Versa dock. We've actually gone to Tattershall Lake, and it's a lot harder to come in and get it right on a GSX to the point where I will actually jump off to guide this in. On a Spark, you can basically get your angle perfect. So there are things about the new ones good, but I just wanted to show you guys there is actually room on 2-strokes. Megan just doesn't want to admit it. So I've got sent so many comments and my YouTube's full of them. Joe, why did you buy the 3-up? And whilst we've just been covering it, I wanted to talk about the actual practicality of it in the sense that the Seadoo Spark is a modular design, right, guys? This rear platform is essentially a bolt-on plug-and-play piece. So essentially, you could take this whole platform off, put a couple of ancillary parts back on, such as some bumpers and an IBR guard, and this is a 2-up. But the great thing is, by removing the 3-up platform, you can still keep the longer seat. Now, I truly believe whether you have a 2-up or you have a 3-up, just get the longer seat. The longer seat allows you to stand on the back whilst you're doing tricks, which I know is not technically where you should put your feet. You should put it on the foot wedges. But I've always found with the 3-up seat, you're that further back so you can get it even higher than those. And obviously when the passenger comes and they want to jump on, you've just got a seat that's practical for 2 people. So the 3-up, in my opinion, is the way to go from factory. And then you've got all the parts there for the future. Ask the question all the time, Joe, how can you justify spending £10,000 on a new gen ski when you can get the likes of a GSX for 1,700? The reality is, guys, that's inflation. The 90s is a completely different time when 2-strokes were a lot cheaper for the relative price of a fully loaded ski. My Wave Blaster, new, was only £5,600. So at the 10K mark for 20 years evolution, that's not actually that bad. Sure, people will say it's a plastic Polytech ski versus a gel coat ski back in the 90s, but this material is the best in class now, so you have to embrace it for what it is. I've been in the camp, like you guys, of moaning about the fact it's not a 2-stroke, but I've learned to embrace it and we're loving it. I truly believe, guys, that spending 30k on an RXP doesn't, relatively speaking, make you 3x more happier. And arguably, the only out-and-out true rider ski that asks you for rider agility and pushes you near the threshold of how you want to throw these machines around is the Spark. The reality is, guys, the Spark is never going to be a high-revving GSX or an XP or even an SP, but it's the best in class, playful-wise, that we have in 2024. And I didn't want to live through the prime of my life, the prime of life,
but the prime of life.
I would like to stay in the prime of my life.
with not experiencing the Spark. It's been around for 10 years, so you really do have to try it. So you're officially up to speed, guys. I've been asked a ton why we bought the Spark. We now have the Spark. I've explained some of the reasons why we have the Spark. I've got Megan in. I've showed you some of the exclusive behind the scenes clips from back in 2021. And for everyone that's asked me a detailed breakdown of the actual breaking of this ski, I've made a dedicated video. So that will be coming to this series. So you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, obviously. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. I know obviously it's a new gen ski. I wanted to reassure you guys that whilst we've bought new, the old stuff is going nowhere, and it's very much a staple of the channel. It's just about introducing a new product alongside the old so that I can compare and contrast, and you guys ultimately will see how the Spark stacks up against the old stuff. So you can blame Megs that there's a Spark on the channel.
Blame me or thank me?
Well, probably blame, because we're all XP people, right?
Well, no, you can be an XP person and I will be a Spark person.
We can be whatever you want, guys, but the new gen ski is not going to obviously get rid of the old ones, so don't panic. It's just going to allow me and Megs to get out on the water together a bit more, and obviously get Megs into skiing. I grew up with skis, you didn't.
I didn't even know you could get jet skis in the UK. That's how crazy it was. And I started out on a 2-stroke, so when I was on a 4-stroke, I was like, I like it now.
Honestly, guys, thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching, and keep the classics alive.
Or new gen. It needs to be a new one.
This is still a classic. It's been here for 10 years
My
now.
dad had a tagline the other day, which was
keep the new
looking
and they'll look like a classic.
We'll get my dad to say that
Yeah,
tagline
we need your dad.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye.